Welcome to Can the Angels Fly? I'm Nancy, and today we're here to talk about Chiron. Who's Chiron? In astrology, Chiron is referred to the wounded healer. Now, Chiron is currently in Pisces. What does this mean? And how is it relevant to you as well as to the world at large? As you know, this is a tarot channel. I'm having difficulty saying it. A tarot channel. However, I dive deeper and deeper so that you can understand. You will be able to interpret your life as events unfold. Right now, in this video, we're talking about Chiron, the wounded healer, and his significance, or its energy significance in your life, as well as globally. Now, Chiron, the wounded healer, affects us or impacts both our physical realm as well as our spiritual realm, physical and spirit. So let's first talk, excuse me, I hope you can hear me. Now, a little squeaky chair. Let me get comfortable so we can talk today. How y'all feeling? That's a good question to ask, especially discussing Chiron, the wounded healer. So let's break down the character Chiron as well as the energy of Pisces. I guess we'll start with Chiron. Now, Chiron, if I am not mistaken, is a mystical or astrological energy being. And he, because Chiron sounds masculine, I haven't researched it, is representation of a being, a person that has had their set of life experiences, and those life experiences affected them in some critical way. Chiron was hurt, traumatized even, and Chiron had to live through that traumatic existence. But somehow, some way, he worked his way through it. And he was able to heal, able to overcome, to be renewed and restored. Put yourself in the place of Chiron. Because its energy, his energy, is asking you to do just that. Universe, God, all speaks to us through the astrological alignments, astronomy, astrology. This is another message from Divine. It says, hey, you have had a set of life experiences. And in those life experiences, you may have been hurt, even traumatized. I know it's not easy, but just keep moving. Just keep moving. And you will find healing if you just keep moving. Don't give up. Just keep moving. You will be healed. Just as you've lived your life experiences thus far, whatever they consist of, you've come to some understanding or to gain enlightenment in various arenas of life. Your trauma, your hurt, your pain is no different. There is an answer. Just keep moving. That's Chiron. That is you manifesting the Chiron energy. Now, let's talk about Pisces. We're all aware of Pisces. We know that Pisces occupies the 12th house. And what does the 12th house represent? It represents the outcome of what will happen after you've had all those life experiences, especially those that are traumatic, what you will bring into existence in this world due to that pain, due to the suffering, due to the trauma. What will you permit to bring into existence in the 12th house? Will you end up committing suicide? Will you end up going into a mental institution or a sane asylum? Will you attempt to escape, separate yourself, alienate yourself? What will you do? Will you try to sleep your life away? Will you suffer from depression? What will you do? The 12th house is looked at the house of undoing, destroying yourself because you've been traumatized. Now, before I go into Pisces, I want to talk about something. And that something is that we as humans have this safety mechanism built into us where when we are hurt, wounded, and traumatized, we shut it out. We try to block it out, push it to the back of our minds. And we've talked about that on this channel. And we talked about it, but we labeled it as that deep psychological place, the sunken place that you go in order to have that breakthrough to psychic abilities. We've talked about it. You can go search out a video in my video catalog that covers that 12th house in detail. Now, let's talk about Pisces. What is Pisces for an individual person as well as the world at large? Now, Pisces is you and your individual experience. As mentioned, Pisces is the 12th house. So there are 11 more houses prior to Pisces. The first house where you start moving in order to perform some works. Because in what original works are we performing? Life, living, moving forward. We have no choice as long as we are granted breath in the original jolt. We are motivated to move. And so as we move and have those life experiences, by the time we get to the 12th house, some of what we experience is heartbreaking, traumatic, devastating, to say the least. So Pisces really talks about your life and whatever it consists of. This is so general. There are so many of you. So that means there is a X amount of possibilities, life experiences an individual has had. Some of those experiences are wonderful, but there are those that aren't as wonderful, some that we don't feel like we wanted, that we brought into existence. Nevertheless, it happened, and you got to deal with it. Now, I repeat that as humans, we have this tendency to not want to deal with the pain. It's a safety mechanism. We suppress it so that we can kind of keep going on. But even in that suppression, things are still being worked out. Now that's going back to Chiron, the wounded healer. He was hurt. You were hurt. But even under the suppression, as you move forward with life, healing is occurring at all times. And that's the message that universe, God, all, however you like to address him, it, she, divine energy, has been talking to you, has been guiding you and me, us, and working with us so that we can be healed. Now, let's talk about Pisces relative to the world at large, all the people in existence. Now, I don't know how many people there are that are currently alive and existing in this world, but it is guaranteed that each and every person has had their life experience. They too, each of us, each person has been animated to move forward and live life. They have that original motivation. We all do. And each of us has had some good times and some not so good times. Again, we're focusing on those not so good times that bring the sadness, the depression, the despair, the fear, the regret, overall, the traumatic experience and the results of that traumatic experience. One thing we've identified as being human, we suppress it, but it's still there. It's still impacting us. It's still affecting and influencing us and our day-to-day choices and how we feel and how we interact with each other. I'm going to stop because I want to talk a little bit about how we live today. Social media is a excellent example of a medium in which we show feverishly how happy we are to others. We take some awesome pictures and we tweet those pictures and images and videos to show that we're happy and we're living this exciting life. Life is good. But when the camera goes off, we are dealing with some real deep pain, some wounds, some agony, some suffering, some heartbreak. And why do I bring that up? It's because, especially now in the history of humanity, we don't want to look at the pain. We want it to be happy-go-lucky, sugar and spices and everything nice. But the truth of the matter, those wounds do exist on an individual basis, individual level, as well as a collective level. What can I call it? The collective consciousness, which is in the 12th house, Pisces, is what is creating our current experiences. And we know that there's a lot of unsavory, deep, heavy, demonic, dark stuff going on in our world. But we suppress it. Because how can we possibly continue to go on looking directly at the madness? It's too much. It's too much. I hope I'm making this make sense. So, let me try to highlight what I've been saying thus far. How is Chiron, the wounded healer, important to you and to the world at large? Chiron, the wounded healer, says, as you move forward in life, trust and believe, even though you're trying to suppress the pain, you're trying to hide it, you're going to deal with it. And how is one of the ways that you're going to deal with it? We're going to deal with it. Remember that however you feel in the inside, you're going to spill out into the world. It's like pushing your pain and suffering out into the world. It says, because I hurt you, hurt too. It says, so hey, you're going to end up looking at all those things that you're suppressing face to face. Because what they say, the first thing to healing is acceptance. Hey, you got to look at it first. So we're going to push out our traumas into the world. If I hurt, you hurt. That way, our pain is exposed so that we can do what? Understand where we are. Understand the state of our souls individually and collectively. First step to healing. Now, another thing, I will say even more related to that pushing things out into the world. How you feel. My pain is your pain. Feel my pain. I can't say it. I got this front on. I got this mask on. So I'm going to push it out in my actions and how I relate to you and how I speak to you and how, is how I interact with the world. Feel my pain. You should be able to see it. Chiron, wounded healer, will allow us to see each other's pain. But understand that pushing out your pain into the world is what is creating our future experiences and future events. That is true for the individual as well as for the world collectively. Now, since this is all about pain, wounds, trauma, let's talk about, let's give some examples of traumatic experiences a person might have or be a witness to or have perpetuated. How about the effects of poverty or sickness? Are you living in poverty? Have you witnessed somebody that lived in poverty? Have you perpetuated poverty in some way? Have you been sick, suffered from some type of sickness, or seen somebody suffer from sickness? Have you been a person that perpetuated creating sickness upon another or in the world? Whatever your answer is, it has affected you, and you feel some type of way about it. Another possible traumatic experience is physical attack, personal physical attack, somebody threatening your life, or a near-death experience. Are you a person that has been attacked physically, where your life was threatened? Or have you been a person that attacked someone threatening their life? Have you ever had a near-death experience or been close to someone that has had a near-death experience? Those experiences affect you and you feel some type of way. Now, before I go on, I want to say something because I'll forget. Is that these traumatic experiences, again, are something that we suppress or we push to the back of our minds. And many of us, sure enough, including myself, I had to come through this realization because the universe, God, or however you like to address it, has been walking me. And about 4 months ago, revealed to me that I had been affected or influenced by some traumatic experiences in the course of my life, things that I really didn't even think any more about. But it wasn't until somebody might have spoke about it, and I was oblivious, like, what are you talking about? But I was like, that sure enough did happen. I had suppressed something so hard and so long that I had forgot about them. I was not even aware of them anymore. So guess what that means? That means that I was bringing into existence, into this world, into my world, the residual effects of that trauma that I was not consciously at that time aware of. But that trauma was still active, hidden back in the psyche. Therefore, manifesting things into my life. Okay, let's continue with some more examples of traumatic events. How about betrayal by those in your intimate sphere? Those people that you trust, your mom or your husband or your significant other, I'll say. So that's your wife or girlfriend or your sibling. These are people that you embrace, that you trust, that you hold in your bosom, you trust with your deepest secrets. Betrayal, trauma, leading to trauma. Or how about this? Have you been a witness to the death process? Or some form of brutality? Have you seen someone starve to death? How about this? You just witnessed the process of death. When a person took their last breath, you saw it. It fucked with your mind. This is another, or those were other examples of traumatic experiences that we just suppress and push to the back of our mind, and we keep moving forward. Why are we suppressing how we feel and how these experiences have affected us? It is because, number one, it's about survival. Long as you got that initial spark, it's about keeping it moving, keep surviving, keep living. And you can't continue to live and be constantly conscious of traumatic experiences. You can't keep going because you can't see clear. You can't communicate clear. So it affects you. So we suppress. And even though we suppress, it still exists. That traumatic experience, the energy still exists within us, and we manifest through that, and we don't even know it. Anyway, let's talk about just a few other examples of traumatic experiences that some of us may be dealing with. And that is a witness to an unthinkable act executed by a trusted authority figure. I'll read that again and give some examples. A witness to unthinkable acts executed by trusted authority figures. Who are authority figures? Some examples are our religious leaders, our enforcement authorities, our governmental, our doctors, our lawyers, etc., our authority figures. And this can go to parents as well, or guardians as well. Any of those experiences can be traumatic. Again, we are built to survive. In order to survive, in order to not go insane, to meet with madness, we suppress and we move forward. Chiron, the wounded healer in Pisces, is saying to us here in this world, in this physical place, hey, I know you done been through something. And I know that you have a propensity, a natural inclination to suppress. And what you're not seeing, people in the world, is that the world that you live in now, the world you will live in the distant future, is a manifestation of that hidden pain that you haven't been dealing with. And because my people in the world haven't really been up under my guidance, not my guidance, universal guidance, God, all, the divine, you haven't been fully healed. Now trust and believe, all along, I've been walking you. I have been trying to communicate with you. So you are on your way to healing. But now is the time that you have gained a level of consciousness and awareness. A part of your ascension process is that you will heal. You will understand perfectly what has been taking place in your life and in this world. So, what is it all about? Guess what, folks? We are about to heal. Now, the healing process may, most likely, will have us look face to face with what I termed in the video where I covered the 12th house and the psychic place. We'll be dealing with our personal nemesis as well as the collective nemesis. All or each beings that have been created through our traumatic life experiences. These things will take form in the physical realm so that we can stand face to face with them and do battle. Thank you for coming here to Can Angels Fly and talking about Chiron, the wounded healer. Until next time, bye.